Hi, I'm Elena S. Blair,
I'm Sandra Cohn.
and we are the ladies behind Lady Boss Workshops.
Woo!
Welcome to another business conversation. We're very excited to be here today.
Yeah.
We want to talk about something that we hear so many people talking about, so many people struggling with, and so many people wanting to gain. And so that is social media followers. We talk about the numbers. Yeah?
Yes. I know this is something that people worry about all the time.
Yes. So
I've gotten sucked into it myself.
absolutely. And what we want to say is that we want to talk about how the amount of followers that you have isn't actually the number that you should be focusing on, or really what you should be focusing on. What you should be focusing on is serving the followers that you already have. And once you serve those people, then more people are going to come. So it's kind of like, the way that I like to think about it is like if you were, if you owned a restaurant, and you had 20 tables in the restaurant, say, and you had 3 people in there eating. Well, what if you weren't actually taking care of the 3 people that were in there eating, but instead were on the street saying, come in, have some dinner, have some dinner. Well, the people in your restaurant aren't going to be happy. They aren't going to be satisfied, and they're not going to tell their friends to come to that restaurant. But if you go in and you serve those 3 people really, really well, you gave them amazing service, great food, they're going to go out and they're going to bring their friends back next time. So that's kind of
That's a great analogy.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I've been thinking about that. But that's an analogy that I like to think about as far as those of us that are, have our social media platforms, and we have our followings, and we need to serve the people that we already have. And yes, Sandra was saying, well, that's easy for you to say. You've gained so many followers, but it's taken me a long time to gain those followers, and the way that I've gained them has been 100% by serving the people that are already there.
Yeah, but I totally get it too, like getting caught up in it. I have
Absolutely.
a really small following for being, an educator and where I am in the industry. I only have like a little over 4,000 on Instagram, which,
What are you on Facebook?
I have no idea. But it's not huge.
Yeah.
But what I do have is I have a really, really engaged followers. So, my story, I'm a weirdo, right? Like I'm a total niche
She's a weirdo.
market, right? Like I shoot film, and I shoot film in a way that film shooters don't shoot film.
Mhm.
So it's like I kind of don't fit in anywhere. So I feel like for me, it's okay. It doesn't bother me that I have a small following because my following they're like totally my tribe. It's completely my people, and we're all a bunch of weirdos. We belong together, and that's okay. And so I get caught up in it too. Like, I remember sitting in the green room at Creative Live with a bunch of other educators.
Well, this was the same with me. This was both of us last year. We did our first Creative Live last year.
But I remember one of the other instructors saying to me, like, you need to get your numbers up because you're missing out on opportunities because of those numbers. And I was like, oh my God, I do. And I freaked out about it for like a week. And then I was like, you know what? It's okay. I'm not going to get wrapped up in this game. I'm going to focus on my people. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to serve them. And that's what works for me.
And I think, so let's talking about numbers. Okay, so for instance, on Instagram, the people that are talking, in my opinion, who Sandra and I are speaking to, you, the photographer, what you're trying to do is build your photography business, right? You're trying to build your photography brand, and you're trying to bring in people to photograph. You don't need 100,000 followers to have successful photography
Oh,
business.
absolutely not.
You don't. Most photographers are really only doing 50 to 200, like full-time photographers, 50 to 200 shoots a year. So if you
depending on your model.
Depending on your model. I'm just making a very broad, don't take any of those numbers like, oh, I'm not doing enough shoots, even if you're doing 20. But my point being that you really don't need to bring in that many people directly from any platform, social media or your SEO or any of those things, right? It doesn't have to be thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So if you really know who you're speaking to and you get on your social media and you're really being mindful about every post that you're posting, making sure that it's actually serving your ideal client, or one of your ideal clients if you have a couple different avatars, that it's really bringing community to your business and brand, that is going to be so valuable. Those people are going to become brand evangelists, turn into clients, and then more people will follow organically, authentically. And it's been super grassroots for me. I haven't grown my following by getting featured on other accounts. I have occasionally. That's not a strategy that I think is a good one. I don't think that that's a sustainable strategy personally.
No, and it's exhausting.
And it's exhausting. I haven't grown my following by paying for numbers ever. It's all been by really getting super specific about who I'm talking to, making sure that every time that I post something that it's going to speak to them, that they're going to engage, and then I'm going to get pushed to the top of that algorithm with that really good engagement.
Yeah.
And that's what Sandra does as well.
Mhm.
The number you should be focusing on should be the number in your bank account.
Amen.
Your number, like okay. And here's us again. We're saying that we feel like we're kind of like unicorns in the industry a little bit because we
in general.
we have family businesses, so we're not doing like these really like sexy, like we're not commercial photographers or whatever.
Mhm.
But and we don't have 200,000 under our name. No, we don't. But we know people who have that many under their name and aren't making any money with their social media accounts. It's all a vanity thing. That's great. Or these are social influencers that are trying to make money on brand partnerships and that kind of thing. That's
But
a totally different strategy than what you're trying to do by building your photography business.
But I will say, I mean, if you do want to be a social media influencer, again, this sounds weird, but you don't have to have these giant numbers. What they're looking for is what they call micro influencers that, again, have a really engaged community. I have some great sponsors and some great people that I'm working with. And
Yeah.
again, I don't have a huge following, but I have a very, very engaged following.
Exactly.
And so that's really, again, we're always talking about this engagement, good content. But it's because
And
that's
it's so
really,
true.
that is what it's all about. That's what it's about in social media, and that's what it's about for your SEO, and that's really about, it's really what it boils down to is it's always about the actual people. Like, and
Yes,
these
these are
aren't numbers,
people.
these
Yes.
are actual real people.
So
that
even
wanna
if you
talk
only
to.
have 20, say you have 20 followers, let's go like super basic, like you just started, you have 20 followers, that's 20
Love
people.
those 20 people.
Those are 20 people who signed up and said, yes, I'm going to follow this person, I like what she's doing, so give them something to come back to.
Mhm.
Give them something to engage with. Give them something that's going to serve their life, that's going to bring them value. That's how you build a brand. And your
Mhm.
following is going to come up from there. If you say, ugh, I only have 20 people, what's the
I'm
point?
not, yeah, then
That's like not really you're not actually valuing the people that have signed up to be part of your
I mean,
tribe.
that's kind of rude.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's kind
That's
of
saying, like, I don't have enough for you to be important.
Well, exactly. And I think that what I want you all to know is that you have a platform. You have a platform. But that's the amazing thing about modern times. We all do. And so what are you going to do with it? Are you going to sit there and say, well, I've got these 200 people, but really I'd rather have like 200,000 people, so I'm going to freak out about the numbers and I'm going to take quick fix classes that are going to teach me how to get my first 100,000 followers, whatever. That's not going to happen. It's not going to be an engaged following. It's not going to be worth your time. You need to make sure that you are really taking care of the people who've already said yes to you, and that is going to, I promise, build your following in a way that is going to be more organic and more authentic.
Absolutely. And if I can just do a plug for something that I don't sell at all, check out Gary Vaynerchuk's book, The Thank You Economy, because he talks about that. He talks about how the rules of marketing have changed with social media, and it's really about loving your people, saying thank you, being engaged, giving something to your community. It's a really great book that goes into detail on this stuff, and I really highly recommend it.
Anything he does is great.
I know.
Yeah,
You're welcome, Gary V.
You're welcome, Gary. What's up, Gary? We're gonna tag him. I'm gonna Twitter him
You should
this.
totally.
I'm gonna tweet him. So what we want you to know is, yes, we understand that what you're thinking is that, okay, I want to make this into a business. I need to have a healthy social media following. That's going to bring me, more bookings. And of course, essentially it is. But the truth of the matter is that you don't need a giant social media following to be successful as a photographer. You just need an engaged one.
Yes.
And that's what, Sandra and I teach this over and over again about just really knowing who you're talking to and really knowing what you're trying to say to them. And we're not going to go deep into that in this video, but we just want you to start thinking about that. How are you serving the people that you already have? Stop thinking about someone that's not even there yet. Pay attention to the people that have already said yes to you.
I love them.
Love them.
Love them.
Love them. And on the social media front, if you are still, while you're building your following, you do need to be really, you need to know how to use hashtags. And so we're going to go ahead and link our freebie, our free download. How it's an Instagram guide to hashtags for photographers. So that'll help you get there.
It's a good one.
It's a good one because you do want to, you should. I'm not saying that you shouldn't build your following, but I'm saying that what I think a lot of people do is they worry so much about building their following that they don't take care of the ones they already have, and then they don't have an engaged following, and then you're never going to show up on those algorithms. So serve your people.
Serve your people.
All right.
And grow your list.
And then grow your list.
Or your people. Or all of it.
That's next. We'll talk about. We haven't been talking about lists because we're just trying to stay.
It just came
We're
out.
gonna move into lists
Okay.
at a later date. Okay, because that is so important. Anyway. So if you love this video, please share. Please like and comment.
And be sure to subscribe
Be
to
sure
the
to
station
subscribe.
so you know. I always call it a station. I call it a station again.
What is it?
It's a
channel.
channel.
Okay.
Subscribe though, so when we post videos, you'll get a notification in your now, so you get more of this.
Okay. All right. Have a great day, you guys.
Bye.